What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Brand Blueprint. A lot of founders still think visibility works like this. You make a good product, build a nice website, run some ads, post some content, and hope Google sends people your way. Classic SEO. Well, that model is getting old because the market signal now is not just about whether people can find you, it's about whether machines can understand you well enough to actually surface you during a search. And that is a totally different game. Google's own Merchant Center direction now says products can appear for free across Google Search, Maps, Gemini, YouTube, the Shopping tab, Images, and Lens, and that Google relies on the product data merchants provide to match products to what shoppers are searching for. Google also says the product details you provide through required attributes are the foundation for showing products for free on Google. So today's market signal is this. Discovery is becoming data infrastructure. And what does that mean? I know people are like, okay, what are you talking about? It means it's no longer enough for your brand to just look good to humans. Your catalog, your product pages, your pricing, your availability, shipping, returns, images, and product language now have to be understandable to AI and machines as well. And if you are a founder from a pre-revenue standpoint to anywhere to $5 million, especially in consumer products, e-commerce, or retail, that matters because a lot of brands are still acting like visibility is mostly a creative problem or an SEO problem. And it's not. Increasingly, it is an information quality problem. Now, I know many of you are actually, okay, Dana, what's actually changing? So let's start with what changed. Google is making product visibility more distributed and more AI mediated. What does that mean? Its Merchant Center help pages say free product listings can show up across Search, Maps, Gemini, YouTube, Shopping, Images, and Lens. And it also says that free listings are often turned on by default, but showing up is not a guarantee because matching depends on the data merchants provide. And Google explicitly says that keeping Merchant Center up to date, setting shipping, return information, and matching product data with your online store all affect whether products show up effectively across Google, especially free. And get this, earlier this month, Google announced new updates to AI mode and AI overviews that add more inline links, previews, and deeper web exploration inside AI search. Now, Google says it's continuing to improve how it shows and ranks links in these AI experiences and is using techniques like query fan out to dig deeper into the web and find the most relevant sites. And the shopping layer is changing too. Search Engine Land reported in March that based on a Visibility Lab study of $20.9 million SERPs, Google AI overviews were showing 14% up from 2.1. Those are real numbers. And whether the exact percentage rises or falls from here doesn't really matter. The direction is the real signal. Shopping search is becoming more AI shaped and AI influenced, not less. So in plain English, what does that actually mean for you as a founder? Well, number one, it means your product is no longer competing only in a list of 10 blue links with an opportunity to get above the fold. Now you're competing inside product feeds, inside shopping services, AI answers, visual searches, and machine interpreted product comparisons. Now, this is a very different environment from just do SEO, pay for your SEO placement, and go about your way. Now, what do you do with this market signal? This is why it matters beyond Google. Because this is not just a platform tweak for your SEO efforts on Google. This is a market signal that the path between brand and buyer is being reinterpreted by AI. Adobe said in April that AI interfaces and agents are becoming a primary way customers discover, evaluate, and engage brands, and called brand visibility across AI discovery surfaces a new imperative. In a separate Adobe retail analysis, AI traffic to U.S. retail sites grew 393% year over year in Q1 2026 and was up 269% in March alone. And Adobe survey found that 39% of consumers had already used AI for online shopping, with 85% of those users saying it improved their experience. Let that soak in. Now, what really matters for founders is not just that AI traffic is growing, which it is, but it's also that Adobe says that this traffic is actually better traffic. Listen, in March 2026, Adobe said AI referred retail visits converted 42% better than non AI traffic. Engagement was 12% higher. Shoppers spent 48% longer on the site, and they viewed 13% more pages per visit. That means this is not some novelty single. This is not interesting, maybe later. It'll probably go back to paid SEO. This is a real shift in how people are discovering products and deciding where they click next. And once that becomes true, then your job as a founder changes too. Because now the question isn't only, can I get traffic? The question actually is, can my brand be accurately represented by machines before the customer ever even reaches me through search? That is a deeper operational question and one that each founder has to address. And it sounds a lot like what has already happened in other channels. Amazon is no longer just a marketplace, it is an operational system. Retail is not just shelf access, it is compliance. And now Google and AI discovery are no longer just search, they are structured product understanding. That is the signal, folks. Now, what's the real risk for founders? Because the risk is not just, well, my SEO might get a little bit weaker. The risk is actually that your brand becomes hard to interpret. And when that happens, you become easier to skip by the consumer. Adobe's April retail benchmark found that the average homepage score for AI readability was 75%. Category pages averaged 74%, and individual product pages averaged just 66%. Adobe's framing was blunt. Large portions of retail sites are still not entirely readable by AI machines. That matters because product pages are where most of the money is. If your product page is vague, messy, inconsistent, image light, out of sync with Merchant Center, or hard for machines to parse, then you aren't just risking lower visibility, you are risking misrepresentation. And founders tend to misdiagnose. And when they misdiagnose this, they think, oh, it must be my ad. I got to spend more money. Or the customer isn't spending, then the economy's soft, the market's soft, or my awareness is low. Sometimes the issue is much simpler. And sometimes, believe it or not, the machine does not have enough clean information about your brand to work with. And when that happens, the downstream damage is much bigger than just loss of traffic. You can end up with several issues, including weaker organic discovery, more dependence on paid traffic, higher acquisition costs, softer conversion because the wrong shoppers get to your website, and a brand story that only makes sense if the human works hard to figure it out. That is not a scalable formula for success. And it's also not attractive to investors, buyers, or serious operators. Because if your visibility depends on constant paid SEO versus durable discovery, your growth engine is more fragile than it actually looks. So, what are smart founders doing right now? Well, first, let me tell you, they are treating product data as brand infrastructure, not back office admin for some intern to do, not something to clean up later, but true infrastructure. Google said the required product attributes are the foundation for showing products for free across Google. Those include basics like your ID, your title, your link, your image link, your price, description, availability, and brand. Google also says merchants should keep information high quality, relevant, and matched to the online store itself. Second, smart founders are making sure their product information is consistent everywhere, not just on Google, but on your web page, on your affiliate pages, same title logic, same pricing, same availability, same shipping truth, same return truth. Google specifically recommends matching merchant center data with the online store so customers see the same information across both platforms. Third, smart founders are treating the product page like it has two jobs. It has to persuade the human and it has to inform the machine. Two different jobs. Those are not the same thing. Humans respond to emotion, clarity, proof, and desire. Machines, they need structured signals. What is the thing? What does it cost? Is it available? What image represents it? What category it belongs in? And whether the store policies make sense. Now, fourth, smart founders are checking the actual health of the catalog. Google's Merchant Center now gives brands product visibility, approval status, and needs attention views. That means founders no longer have an excuse to fly blind. If the data is weak, the platform is already telling you that. And fifth, smart founders are simplifying how they describe the product. They're not using more adjectives or trying to be more clever. They're adding more clarity. Because if a shopper asks an AI tool for the best low sugar drink, a good mushroom coffee, a compact carry-on umbrella, a clean ingredient oral care product, or a thoughtful gift under a certain price, your brand has to be legible enough for the system to connect you to that intent and to that shopper. That is a data problem before it is a copy problem. So here's the filter I want founders using this week. If an AI system or Google shopping surface encountered your best selling product today, could it quickly and confidently understand a couple of key things? First and foremost, what is it? Who is it for? What actually makes it relevant? What is the cost? Is it actually in stock? What the image is? What the shipping terms are? What the return policy is? And whether the page and the feed actually agree. Because if the answer is no, then your discovery problem may not be demand. It may be readability. And the good news is that's fixable. Start with your top 1 to 3 SKUs. Tighten up your titles, tighten the description, check the image quality, check Merchant Center, check the shipping fields and the return logic, and make sure your pricing is consistent. Check your product page and make sure that it actually says the same thing your feed is saying. Most founders do not need a giant visibility overhaul to get better. They just need a cleaner source of truth. So the big takeaway this week is really simple. Discovery is becoming data infrastructure. Google is still a visibility engine, but it is increasingly a visibility engine that depends on structured, machine-readable data about your brand or product. What does that mean, Dana? That means good product data, good page clarity, good catalog discipline, good feed hygiene, and fewer contradictions between what the brand says and what the systems can actually verify. The founders who understand this are going to have a real advantage versus other founders because they are not just building for clicks, they are building for true understanding and interpretation by the machine. And in this market, that is becoming one of the most valuable forms of visibility a brand can have, especially free. Thanks again for tuning in to another great episode of the Brand Blueprint and our Market Signal series. Please like, follow, and share our content across all of your favorite platforms, and we'll see you next week.